You know, as much as it sucks to see Mekamaru getting killed, it was still satisfying as hell to see Mahito getting wrecked by him after everything he's done to Yuji. Even though it does kinda sour my satisfaction that all of it mostly went according to Mahito's plan. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and JJK has blessed us with yet another fantastic episode this week with the conclusion to Mahito and Mekamaru's fight along with the beginning of the long-awaited Shibuya incident. This episode was absolutely insane. So without wasting any more time, let's just get started with my breakdown of Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, Episode 7, titled Evening Festival. The episode straight up starts with a reanimated sequence of Mekamaru revealing his ultimate Mekamaru, and you also get to see how Mahito manages to keep himself intact, considering there's a giant ass explosion when ultimate Mekamaru pops out from the ground. It's wild that they straight up made an entirely new sequence for the beginning of this episode when they easily could have used scenes from the previous episode. MAPPA is genuinely insane for that, and you can tell just how much love they put into JJK. Mahito and Mekamaru's fight was absolutely insane, and I love the fact that the fight basically came down to Mekamaru trying to attack Mahito with his special curse techniques while fainting him out with his normal attacks, which can't hurt Mahito's soul, which added an extra layer to this fight instead of it mostly just boiling down to punching each other really hard, even though this fight does have that as well. Also, I absolutely love that this fight references and pays homage to Gurren Lagann. Like, you genuinely can't tell me Mekamaru using a drill attack to Mahito and how some of the shots were framed aren't a direct reference to the GOAT Gurren Lagann. If I had one complaint about this fight, it would easily be how scenes were dimmed and had the ghosting effect, which is done to prevent epilepsy and seizures. And I personally think that they kind of went overboard with it, and it ended up ruining some really insanely animated sequences that the animators worked really hard on. It was quite frustrating to see that amazingly animated sequence of Mahito turning into different animals to dodge, being barely visible and having lost all of its fluidity. Though thankfully the Blu-ray version of the episode will not have this filter, so I'm definitely looking forward to rewatching it again once the Blu-rays come out. It was so satisfying to see Mahito dodging all of Mekamaru's attacks and getting complacent, then in turn getting hit by the special curse technique, and the cake was just a cherry on top. Though the satisfaction was short-lived, as when Mekamaru tries to use his technique that can damage Mahito's soul again, Mahito uses his domain expansion. The domain expansion scene was very well done, and I absolutely love the silence in the background from the very second Mahito dragged Mekamaru into the domain. And the animation of the hands was just perfection, even though I think they reused this scene from season 1. As soon as Mahito thinks he's done with Mekamaru, Mekamaru uses a simple domain and manages to damage Mahito again with his special technique. Also, in case some of you guys are confused what a simple domain is, it is basically a barrier technique that can be used to defend against domain expansions. Since domain hit against the target, this simple domain is basically a barrier that doesn't have any offensive capabilities but can manage to defend attacks in a domain expansion. And by pretty much faking his death in Mahito's domain, Mekamaru manages to get a surprise attack on Mahito, seemingly killing Mahito as his domain expansion was undone. Seeing all this and realizing he still has 9 years worth of cursed energy and a simple domain left, he goes in to attack Geto, thinking that he'll finally get to meet his friends after all this. But of course, reality hits hard, and this time, reality is Mahito using a drill to attack Mekamaru. As his final gambit, Mekamaru tries to attack Mahito again with his final technique, but unfortunately the next scene is Miwa talking with the sleeping body of Mekamaru, thinking that she would like to get to know him better and eventually visit him someday. Then we have the aftermath of this battle, where it's revealed that Mahito tore apart his body before getting hit by Mekamaru's technique, and he himself undid his domain expansion to make Mekamaru think that he was dead. And Mahito also mentions that it was nice to see that they got to see a simple domain before the main event at Shibuya in Halloween. Wonder what that could be about, huh? Then Geto mentions that he's done preparing the veil for Shibuya and he'll leave someone else with the curse technique and the incantation. And it is finally here, and there's no going back anymore. The Shibuya incident finally starts in the anime. You see people celebrating Halloween at Shibuya, then suddenly a barrier starts covering the entire area that traps every single normal person there. Also, it was a nice detail that only some people managed to see the veil appearing there. And the first ever shot we get to see of Shibuya in this episode is Shibuya being completely empty with not a single person or object inside. And the veil is the reason for that. They showed Shibuya from the perspective of an outsider, seeing what the veil is showing, and it was really cool to see. Then cutting back to people getting sucked in like water down the drain to the underground. All of this was so unsettling and so well done. And we see pretty much every single Jujutsu sorcerer available in Tokyo coming to the area and getting ready at their position in order to catch the rebounds of gojo, who is what the people inside the barrier seem to be asking for. And the Zenin clan head also mentions that normal people would not know who gojo is, and this is most likely the work of special grade cursed spirits. And the episode ends with gojo arriving inside the barrier. Another fantastic episode this week, and the staff over at MAPPA are truly cooking something incredible. Even though it would have been nice to not have the epilepsy filter on this episode, but at least we will get to see the non-filtered version in the Blu-ray. Aside from that, something that I really liked was the fact that them showing what's happening at Shibuya as a report of what's happened already with noted times for all the major events. It is just so menacing. With all that being said though, that's pretty much all I have for this episode. Make sure to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed, and make sure to subscribe to my channel for more JJK and anime content in general.